Good morning, gamers. Welcome back to this reflective, retrospective review of the Goosebumps series on Gattsy on Goosebumps, the only show in which I have read and reviewed every single Goosebumps book. We looked at some of the best Goosebumps books from the original series last time. Now we're going to do what is more fun and be critical and insult someone's hard work without offering, anything that could be compared to it. Because it's easy to criticize and it's enjoyable as well. So I'll be using the same criteria that I thought of 5 seconds before the last video that defines a good Goosebumps book, which is an original concept followed through well, a sense of weirdness or quirkiness, and consistency within itself and within its own story. That third point will be key for a lot of these books. But without further ado, here are the 10 worst Goosebumps books from the original series, in no particular order. Beast from the East doesn't take itself too seriously, which is a plus because it's a ridiculous concept. Kids lost in a forest, playing a game with these cuddly beast things. So, that's good. It never tries to be anything than like a big laugh, but it doesn't work for the Goosebumps series at all. I've said in my previous review, it will work much better as like a children's story, like picture book. And the main problem is the characters don't have any agency. They're forced to play this game, but they just proceed on blind luck, and you can't get invested in what the characters are doing because they don't know what they're doing. It's just like they stumble through the story, and we as the reader just stumble through as well. Definitely avoid the Beast from the East. Not the titular Beast, the book, but stay away from the Beast as well, because he makes you play a game that you have no idea about, and then it's not fun for anyone reading. Ghost Next Door sounds like it would be a pretty typical Goosebumps fare about a ghost that lives next door. But this is really hampered by a really slow-moving, boring, monotonous, plodding plot. Given the sort of revelation at the end, it sort of makes sense that it would be written this way, but I don't think Goosebumps books is the time to experiment with narrative structure. You want a fast-paced, interesting story from the get-go. And while this is, kind of a really interesting concept, actually, it is let down by just a really boring pace. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, I said in my original review, I don't know if I liked it or didn't like it, but it's got to be one of the worst. This is a prime example of just throwing so much stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, especially towards the end. You've got a haunted piano, you've got robots, you've got a cursed piano. There is way, way, way too much happening. It could be like so many separate stories that could be good. It's all just thrown together. Really just weird, bizarre, like a fun read, but you've got to say it's a bad book, full stop. Egg Monsters from Mars. Again, a missed opportunity to have a dynamic between our main character and the main antagonist, who's this mad scientist, because so much of it is much like The Ghost Next Door, just a really uneventful lead up to what happens. I remember so many of these chapters end in just these really bad, false scares, like to try and get the reader reading, and there's a case of diminishing returns because it just gets so tiresome, it's so quick, there's nothing really exciting to keep you going until maybe like the last 3 chapters. Good cover art though. Can't Scare Me, another really cool concept. A town or a village of like outsiders that was swept into the mud during this like terrible storm, and now there's this curse around the town. That's really awesome. Unfortunately, most of the plot revolves around our two protagonists trying to scare this perfect girl in their class, and they're kind of dicks about it, and you don't really sympathize with them at all, as you do with like the character in Calling All Creeps, because it's sort of like our protagonists are kind of the bad guys. The actual scary element, the actual mud monsters, make, I think, a one scene appearance or like one paragraph appearance at the very like last chapter before it all wraps up, which is, come on, look at that front cover. You would be so excited to see these things, but you barely do. Boy, this one is bad. This one is bad. Like, similar concept to Beast from the East, but none of the levity or childish charm about it, I guess. This is just, there's Oh, I think this is probably the worst. I think this is probably the worst of the original series. Brother and sister in a European country looking for a hidden chest, and they come across this test of mythical animals and Vikings and clockwork robots, and a test to see what is real or not. Fantastic cliffhanger, as I've said in my review, but just avoid this like the plague. It is so dumb. Despite all these weird things happening, you cannot get invested for even 1 second. Welcome to Camp Nightmare. This is very fondly remembered. I think Aussie #1 Goosebumps fan listed this as like his favorite of all the Goosebumps books. And it's disappointing because this is so good right up to the cliffhanger reveal. There are so many weird things happening at this camp, and it's really exciting. It's really intriguing. You're not sure what's going on. Something's wrong, but you're not sure what. Which is great. It's so much really effective tension, and that needs a really good payoff. And we do not get it here. We get like a twist ending, but that does not explain all the strange things that happened at all. With all these exciting things happen, you've got to have you need a better payoff thing Welcome to Camp Nightmare provides. Barking ghost. Again, it's such a simple concept. A ghost dog. Fine, that's classic Goosebumps, right? Wrong. There's transformations and a room that changes people into things, swapping bodies. You don't need that. Just make it a ghost dog. This is so stupid. You know, I often criticize R.L. Stine for giving explanation for things that don't need to be there. We don't care who made the haunted mask. We don't care who made the camera from Say Cheese or Die. I want to know who made the changing room in the Barking Ghost, and what the hell was the point of that? What the hell was the point of this story? Make it a ghost dog. There's a ghost that barks outside your room. There you go. Give me my $500,000. So kind of an interesting concept, going through this fictional theme park that is the setting for all these horror movies, and two characters that love these movies, and they get to explore this theme park, and they suddenly realize everything's sort of coming alive. The problem is, as I explained in my review, we the reader have no connection to any of the things the characters are seeing. They'll encounter some famous movie monster, and they'll be like, "Oh my god!" But we don't understand the impact of that monster. We don't understand why that would be scary. We haven't, because the movies aren't real. The reader hasn't seen them. So it's just like, it's sort of like a friend telling you an anecdote about their friends that you don't know. You're like, okay, is that funny? Do they usually do that? Quite a poor Goosebumps book in that sense. Similar to Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. Too many different concepts going into this. Rumor has it, in this snowy little village, you know, in the Arctic Circle, there's this giant snowman that like looks over the town, and all the townspeople build these snowmans out the front of the house to you know, appease him or something. Interesting concept. Why bring into it the fact that there's a monster trapped in a snowman's body that was made by sorcerers, and the sorcerers had to put a curse on the monster to save it from... So just make it a snowman. Beware the snowman, indeed. And that concludes not only my review of the best and worst Goosebumps books of the original series, but the Gattsy and Goosebumps series, I think. I'm certainly open to exploring other avenues of Goosebumps media in the future. You know, I haven't talked at all about the TV series, which I love, or the merchandise or anything. Right now, I think I'm done with Goosebumps for a bit. You know, it's been like 3 years of reading and reviewing these books, and I feel better for it. You know, it's been a good... It's been a passion of mine. It was, you know, book series I love, so it's good to take the time to you know, creatively explore those again. I am something of an artist, like Picasso, but when I draw faces, they have like noses on the correct side of their face. Fuck Picasso. So I want to thank you all for sticking with me, for getting a bit spooked. I hope you had some chills, but also some laughs. And I hope you know, I made you think every now and then about why you shouldn't bring a ventriloquist dummy to life, or why you should not learn how to fly. they're just two examples of the many lessons we learned from that series. But now and forever, from Gattsy on Goosebumps, stay spooky.